Coupled flight director. The UH60 mic allows the pilot the ability to utilize the aircraft's autopilot system. The aircraft has two FDs, or flight directors, that run independently within separate flight control computers. The pilot's FD is FD2, co-pilot's FD is FD1. The FDs consist of an FCC, an FD-DCP, two MFDs, sensors and switches on the cyclic and collective grips. The coupled flight director consists of two independent flight control computers, FCCs, and flight director and display control panels, FD and DCPs. When either FCC is operating in the coupled mode, it provides commands to pitch, roll, yaw, and collective by way of the automatic flight control system, also known as AFCS, in order to drive the trim servos. The flight director and display control panel, FD and DCPs, provide independent control of both flight director and MFD display control selection and settings. The control knobs have momentary switch action for use in push to sync functions. The FD and DCPs communicate with FCCs and MFDs. The flight director processes signals from the navigation and flight instruments to reproduce steering commands that are performed throughout the pitch, roll, yaw, and collective axis. The steering commands allow flight path stabilization to maintain desired heading, acquire a selected course, acquire and track localizer and glide slope for ILS approaches, maintain fixed altitude and/or airspeeds, make a programmed acceleration or deceleration, and climb and descend to a predetermined airspeed and altitude, acquire and track an FMS route. The flight director also provides radar altitude hold mode, which consists of hover position, hover velocity, and hover deceleration modes as aforementioned. Couple flight director modes vary by speed. In-air speed for airspeed hold or IAS control is available from 50 to 150 knots. Heading hold is available above 50 knots. Barometric altimeter hold is above 50 knots. Radar altitude hold, or RALT on the system, is 0 to 1500 feet AGL. Vertical speed hold from 0 to 2000 feet per minute above 50 knots. Go around 70 knot, 750 foot per minute climb engaged at any airspeed or hover. Altitude pre-select, also known as Alt-P, armed in flight or on ground. Navigation modes. FMS, flight plan navigation. Roll command to follow FMS flight command can be coupled above 50 knots. FMS vertical navigation, not implemented currently. VOR navigation can be coupled above 50 knots. ILS localizer, roll command, can be coupled above 50 knots. ILS glide slope, collective command, can be coupled above 50 knots. ILS deceleration, pitch command to slow to 70 knots by 200 feet AGL using the decel mode, 0.5 knots per second deceleration. Hover modes. Hover decel, decelerate to hover, 60 knots or less at either 1.5, 2.5, or 3.5 knots a second as selected by pilot. Hover position hold, maintains GPS position over the ground. Velocity hold mode, holds ground speed up to 60 knots forward. Flight director will couple airspeed at 60 knots indicated, 20 aft or 20 lateral.